And thank you all for joining. It's Friday night. Normally on Friday night, you'd be kicking it somewhere. Okay. You'd be kicking it somewhere with Paul and his son. But, okay, God would have it. He snatched out and said, "You're going to be on the intensive on a Friday night." And I'm happy to host you on tonight, me and all my friends. Okay. So we're excited. We're going to get busy. Um, the one thing that I did have set out for you guys earlier today is I wanted to show you the portal. All right. I wanted to actually give you a look at the portal because a lot of you are either not in it or you are in it but are not using it, and you're asking a lot of questions. You're asking a lot of questions where the answer is in the portal. All right, so let me show you that real quick. I'm gonna share my screen, close all my tabs since my computer wanted to act a little funny earlier. It don't need no extra burden. Okay, so we're gonna close all our tabs and just open up this one for you guys so I can share my screen with you. The goal is that you understand all resources that we share during the intensive are going to be in the intensive. All replays, because some of you like, "Ooh, you already getting okay heart palpitations because you think I'm gonna snatch all the replays." They're gonna go in the portal. Okay, right now they're still on YouTube. But I've put what I did up until last night is already in the portal. But it's going to be in the portal. Okay, so if for some reason I decide I want to take it off of YouTube, then it'll be in the portal, because I may take them off and chop them up a little bit in little bite-sized pieces and release it that way. But if you want to watch the full session, all of that is going to be in the portal. So let me show you what it looks like so you can see everything that's in there. If you are not in the portal, they are dropping the link right now. Okay, just drop the link for the people to get in the portal. All right, can y'all see my screen? Okay, perfect. This is how the portal looks. It may look a little different from when you saw it last because I updated stuff in it even today, even this morning. So this is your welcome video. Okay, it's the welcome video. That's just gonna be me talking. Then here's where you can get your merch. Okay, so you can represent. It disrupts. It breaks the rules. It's mind-boggling. It's supernatural. Okay, you are a benefactor of God's math. So if you want to represent it, you can. All right. Then we have the intensive. These are every single day of the intensive. So it's day one. And even though the application session was the next day, I still put it under day one because the application session goes with that day. Okay. So for you guys, you know that it was the next day. For everybody else that comes after you, all right, it's going to make more sense for them to see those two together. So these is day one in the application session for that session, day two, and so on and so forth. Day four was last night, right? This is what Words did last night. And then I will add mine in this one. And tomorrow, I'll tell you about tomorrow. I don't think I told y'all on the evening session yet. So let me make a note of that. That will also be here as well. Okay. All right. And then God's Master series. This is if you it's your first time hanging out with me on video. Okay. First of all, thank you. But I have a whole series on God's Math. All right. So season one and season two. I'll probably break these out where it's each episode, but for now, I just wanted to get a placeholder for it and a place where you can make sure you can go, and it's going to pull up the entire playlist in order that I did the video. All right. So if you want to spend some time dissecting it and going through the series a little bit slower, you can do it there. And then here are all the worksheets that go with, where is it at? Is it acting correct? Oh, here we go. These are all the worksheets that go with the book as you read it, chapter by chapter by chapter. Okay. So you can grab worksheets, and when you're reading the book, you'll either read it and then eventually, okay, because I record the audiobook, you'll hear me say, go to godsmath.com, and then you can journal out, write out what I'm saying. This goes in with the book. And then study resources. This is where Diana is showing you how to use the Blue Letter Bible app, which I showed everyone on the midday call. She is showing you how to use it in the portal so that you guys are able to get your study on all by yourself. You don't need nobody to feed you. You know how to get in this word and dissect these words for yourself. Okay. So this is the portal. We'll probably add more to the portal. We'll probably do a lot more things with the portal. But for now, it's filled with enough stuff because A lot of you may be thinking, what happens now? Okay. How many of you just, okay, a little gangster teardrop is, you're like, man, I don't want it to end. All right, well, it's tons of resources in the portal. Until we, you know what I'm saying, we figure out our next move, which would be our best move. There's tons of resources in the portal. Also, the Telegram will stay open for now. And so you'll always have that there to go back and talk about the book, talk about things that you're learning. If you go back and rewatch the intensive and you want to go leave comments and all of that stuff, we're going to leave it open for now. So if we do something in the future, we know where to find you. We know anybody that has been locked in with us and I want to see if I decide to just do a live class. That's where I'm going to go and let y'all know so y'all can come on, we can hang out and we can keep learning together. All right. So stay connected in the Telegram and make sure you're in the portal because there's certain things I'll put in the portal that I won't have anywhere else. I won't have it anywhere else. If you've gone through this whole week and you still don't have the book, I mean, what we doing? Okay, what we doing, friend? So go grab the book. It's on Amazon. The master link. It's on the master link. And the number one thing that I want you to do for what happens now, two things. Outside from the massive, gigantic assignment you're going to get at the end of this call today, you got two things, okay, that I want you to do. On Monday, in the portal, in the Telegram, and on email, we're going to be dropping our book club packets for guys math. And this is where you're going to take everything you learned, all this goodness that you learned, and you're going to call up the girls that didn't come because you was like, I'm going to sign up for this, but I don't know what Tip about to be talking about. I just met her. You didn't even realize it's going to be this good. You're going to call up the girls and say, first of all, who is, okay, who is still, that's how you know. Yeah, okay. That's right, bro. Call up the girls on the phone. You call them up and you're gonna say, let's read this book. Okay. You can say maybe y'all do a chapter a week. Y'all meet once a week on Zoom and dissect the book. If you do it locally, maybe y'all meet in person and can get together and dissect the book. You have the workbooks there. And then after you finish the book, you can say, let's do the intensive and do a live watching party. Okay, break that thing up. You can say, look, we're gonna do we're gonna watch a show at night or however you want to do it. Okay, it's there for your disposal. Diana's working on the book club packet and it's gonna drop on Monday. So maybe she can put a suggested live watching party schedule for you. Okay, then that's what we can do for you. So I want you to get your bestie boos together. All right. Get your plus ones and even ones that you don't even want to be plussing with, but they still need this word. Okay. Get them all together so that we can be free on every level. So you can have a fleet of attorneys with you and you're not the only attorney and they all, you know what I'm saying, looking like criminals. You got to always be defending them. They can now start to defend themselves in the courtroom. All right. So grab your people and get it popping. For those of you that signed up for Thrive and Prosper this week, check your emails on either Sunday or Monday. And Tuka's going to be sending out the orientation day. It's going to be sometime next week. Okay. We're going to get you oriented and then we're going to kick off and have us a party. All right. We're going to be learning. Words is in there, doing the marriage, relationship stuff. I will be in there with the spiritual development, Coach Tuka with personal development. And then we got Coach Ramaya, which I'm about to tell you about in about 30 seconds. That's going to be doing business and finance. And so that's happening in Thrive and Prosper. So anybody that did sign up, we will do orientation next week. And so just stay close to your email. We'll be sending that out. And then we also are doing a bonus session because a lot of people know what I do in business, what Words does in business. We wanted to keep the week, okay, about what God is doing. So we're going to do our bonus session on about building a kingdom business on Saturday. It's going to be at the midday slot, so 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Coach Ramai will host a bonus session. All you got to do is show up on the YouTubes like you've been doing, and he will be there waiting on you to dive deep into that. I think that's all my announcements. Claudette, Diana, Britt, Tuka, did I get everything? That's everything? Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Now we about to work. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share a quick slide with y'all. Now Tiffany closed all her tabs out. Okay. And close my slide. Okay. I'm going to share a quick slide with y'all because as we are teaching tonight, you're going to have some homework, live and interactive homework that I need you to do. You can do it right there in the chat. You can take notes in your wherever you're taking notes at. But I'm gonna show you the homework because you know y'all good for being in the chat. So what she said, what her had said, what her had said. Don't do it. Get your phones ready to get a screenshot, okay? And so that you can see what her has said. All right, because what her is about to show you right now, because you have a homework assignment right now. Okay. I'll explain it to you while it's up. All right, here we go. Okay, can y'all see it? Did I share it correctly? All right, now, these are God's math encounters everyone should have. God's math encounters everyone should have. Oh, you sweet baby. If you haven't had a God's math encounter that is on this list, I'm going to briefly go through each one and then I'm going to tell you how this is your homework. Okay, here we go. Okay, hold on. I don't know what it is. Okay. Disciple, a share of the gospel to non-believers. You know, we saints love talking to the saints. I mean, I do too. I'm with you. Okay. We love talking to the saints, but there's some God's math encounters. And the reason why I call them encounters is because when you hear about God's math and you hear the power of God's math and you hear what God's math can do, you immediately are thinking like a forever kingdom best friend and your spouse and you know your business partner that you can be on LLC paperwork with. You just automatically think in terms of months, years, decades, even. And I want you to have that as well. I want you to have the years and decade friendships as well. But baby, don't ever think that there are not some fleeting moments where your life was about to go one way and somebody showed up and may have said one thing to you and you went a completely different way. You thought one way about a thing and somebody showed up and you thought completely different. And 10,000 things disappeared out of what would have happened to you had they not come. These are encounters. They may not have, they may be seasonal impact, but they are just as important. They are just as potent. They're like angels that God he meticulously puts on your path and in your life because he said, you are mine. And because you are mine, I can't have you thinking this way. So I'm going to give this person the word of the Lord and you was going like this and they're going to come, and then it's just going to make you go like this. And guess what? They're going to go about their business in their life and they put you on the right path. So these are God math encounters that everyone should have. So it's going to happen. I'm going to go over each one and I'm going to tell you what your interactive homework is for tonight's session. Disciple, a share of the gospel to non-believers. If any of you are saved now, but you didn't grow up in the church then somebody did this for you. Somebody did this for you. And as I'm doing this, I want you to think about who has been this for you in your life. And just write a note. Because one thing we're gonna do, as long as they still got breath in their body, we're gonna thank them before the weekend is out. We're gonna thank them before the weekend is out. Okay, if they're not here anymore, we're gonna thank God that He sent them. Okay, so you want to be mindful of God's math encounters in your own life that change the direction of your life. Okay, so you want to be mindful of that. Life giver, they speak life into someone you see potential in. So it's just like somebody could have been when you were young, could have been at the grocery store. It's like they said something to you that changed the perspective of yourself in a positive way. They speak life. Okay, they were a life giver. Wisdom giver, a pursuer of knowledge and sharing it with others. So all they do, this person is just a person that's always reading a book, learning, doing, and then you happen to have an interactive session with them where they pour wisdom into you, change your perspective on something. You hadn't thought that way ever since. God's math encounters. A truth teller. They speak the truth boldly with love. But because most people sugarcoat, okay, they put some pixie sticks, okay, and sprinkles on top of the truth. Sometimes it's hard to see it as truth, but then you'll just get done up by somebody that speaks the truth so boldly to you that is so jarring to you that it sets you free in a way that you still have never forgotten that person. That's a truth teller. Okay, here's another one. Here's another one. Bold in assignment. A person fearless in their calling. Because they were fearless in their calling, it changed your life. Because they didn't mind putting themselves out there and getting on the stage and posting their videos, even though you insecure and won't post nothing. And you got a word for the people too, but you over there scary Barry. But and because you think, oh, I gained 20 pounds. Well, they gained 50 and they posted their video. You think because your hair need to be done. They ain't washed their hair in 2 months and they posted their video. They were bold in their assignment and it changed people's lives. Okay. Mastery pour, somebody that has mastered something and they are now pouring that into others. The mastery one has learned, they teach others. Everybody is mastering something. The challenge is if all you've mastered is the cast on, anything that starts with housewives, then that's probably what you're pouring into your girlfriend conversations because you know every character and everything they did, and you read the offline articles, and you're pouring something because you're spending your time doing something. Unless you sleep all day, you're mastering something. But there's some people out here that are really mastering things that are great, and they just pour out into somebody else. They do a mastery pour. These are God's math encounters that we all need. What's going to happen next is now that you have the list, if you didn't write it down, please take a picture. Please take a picture. Please take a picture. And then there's somebody in the chat that's still going to ask. So if anybody got the patience that's required, just if you could still help them out in the chat, because I promise you, it don't matter. They are going to ask in the chat. What was the one about? What they say? They tell the truth, right? I think that's the one. They're going to do it. Okay. So the people that's paying attention, just prepare yourselves to be teachers' assistants on this evening. Now, what you're going to do is I'm about to bring up my girl, Rochelle T. Parks. She's going to tell you a story. And as she tells this story, I want you to connect the person that she's talking about and telling her story with these different people in categories of God's math encounters that everybody should have. So if you hear her talking about a particular story, you say to yourself, oh, that's a truth teller. Oh, that's a wisdom giver. I want you to write the name and I want you to write the category of the God's math encounter that she had. What we're going to see by the end of this, okay, because we're going to meet her, we all going to be on here in a second. What we're going to see at the end of this is that God is in the fleeting moments also. So for those of you, I need my +1. What you're going to realize in hearing her story is you might have had about 100 of them. And you just being able to see it in somebody else's life is going to help you see it in your life, which is going to make you more grateful. That's why I want you to tell everybody you think of tonight, thank you. Thank you for what they did. Thank you for being a disciple, a life giver, a wisdom giver, a truth teller, being bold in their assignment, or doing their mastery pour. I want you to give them a heartfelt thank you. If they are no longer on this earth, you're going to give a heartfelt thank you to God. You're going to do that anyway because he's the one that put them in your path. Okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to exercise some gratitude. And if you thought that was the massive assignment, it don't have nothing on the thing I'm going to tell you at the end. I'm going to give you all a massive assignment. It should keep you busy until we hang out again. And then you can come back and tell me all about it. Okay. So with that said, everybody, one last time, get your screenshots. Does everybody understand the homework? Do y'all think I explained it clearly? For those on Zoom, the only ones I can see your face. Do I need to? Okay. I think I did it. Okay. Okay, y'all know how the people cuts up now. All right. So y'all just prepare your fingers. Prepare your fingers. All right. So I'm going to bring up my sis. Okay. Hi, Rochelle.
Hi, Tiffany.
This is my bestie boo, my sister, my health coach. Okay, my laughing partner. we do it all. We do life together and we cuts up together and we get healthy together. Well, she was healthy when I met her. I got healthy, okay, and we just do all the things. And but she has a powerful testimony that is just sprinkled with God's math, and I want her to tell it. And as she's doing it, this is not for you to just lean back and enjoy the testimony. This is for you to identify God's math encounters so you can identify it in your own life and you can prepare for your massive assignment at the end. All right, I'm gonna let you take it away, Rochelle. Love you.
Love you. All right, y'all. So I want to take you all on a journey with me as we just look back over my life. And I will tell you that this was eye-opening for me. Okay, so shout out to Coach Tuka, who has been telling me to do this for years. Write this stuff down. And I'll just say that I think God know what he's doing, y'all. I think he knew what he was doing. Okay, I think he on to something, and it's pretty gets me a little emotional when I think about it. And so I just everybody just lean in, okay? And so I just want to take you back all the way back to when I was a little girl. So some of you may know parts of the story already, but I'm from Houston, Texas, you all. I'm the youngest of 8 children. Okay. Baby girl, grew up in Houston, Texas, 3rd Ward, if anybody is familiar with that. Always had an interest in science and health. And so people think like this is cultural, like I just started this. No, I mean, from day one, okay, I had an interest in science and health. I come from a 2-parent household. Everybody knew Coach Rowe was going to, no, I'm sorry, I was Rochelle. Rochelle was going to medical school and becoming a doctor. Like that was my dream. Everybody knew it. And so, but I'll tell you this though, I did not grow up in church. I literally can count on one hand how many times I went to church my entire childhood, literally count on one hand. So didn't grow up in church. It kind of went like this. So I'm the youngest of 8, and it's a big age difference. So the closest one to me is actually 7 years older than me, right? And so they're much older than me. So this is how I went. The later my siblings stayed out on the Saturday night, the earlier my mother woke us up on Sunday morning to clean the house. And to be honest, so what were we doing? My mother would be in her room, cleaning up her room, listening to some Bobby Blue Bland or some BB King, and some of us a little ratchet, some Millie Jackson, if y'all know what that is, okay? I'm just saying that's what it was, okay? Some of y'all don't know about that, okay? But that's what it was when I was a kid. And so so you fast forward, so I was born in 1970, right? So I'm just giving you a frame of reference. So my earliest memory of I'll just say church, right? Or something, I just say God. I was around 9 years old. So I would just say between 79 and 1981. So I had one of my sisters. So I had 2 sisters and 5 brothers, you all. And so it was me as the baby, 5 brothers, right? Well, actually 4 brothers. And then I had 2 sisters and then a brother that was the oldest. So my sisters are 12 and 13 years older than me. So my oldest sister, Laura, y'all, let me tell y'all something. Nobody was going to church at one point, and then somewhere along the line, somebody got a hold of Laura and discipled her, and now she's sold out for Christ. Okay. Now, I know that's what it is today, but as a little girl, we thought she was crazy. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Okay. We thought Laura was crazy. And Laura used to take me, lock me in my parents' room. True story, you all. And have me listen to the whining song, The Question Is. I mean, just lock me into, just listen to the words. Y'all, she was trying to save my soul. Okay. Now I thought she was crazy. Okay. And like every time, so I was the only one I was a little girl, so I was probably like 9. So she's probably about 22, or somewhere up in there. Cause remember, she's like 13 years older than me. And nobody else would listen to her. And I mean, I would get out of there. I said, Laura had me locked up in the room, and they'd be like, Laura crazy. Okay. She was just sold out for Christ. But we thought she was crazy because we didn't know anything about God. The only memory I have, I remember in our living room, there was some bookshelves. And it was this white Bible that would sit in there, open up probably to the 23rd Psalm. Okay. Probably just sitting on this little, look, that was it, y'all. I promise you, that was it. And then this is another thing we would do as children. To know that we were not lying, we would say right hand on the Bible. You know, that was the thing. When you say right hand, you like, no, I'm not, no, it ain't right. I can't say that because that's if you can't say right hand on the Bible, you lying, right? So that's all, I'm just saying that's all we had for church, y'all. That's all we had. And so I remember that, right? So that was that. So I'm going on with my life, right? Now I was an athlete. I've been an athlete all my life, and make no mistake about it, I'm still an athlete today. Okay, I can still do some things, but I grew up playing sports. Okay, of course I have 5 brothers, so I play a lot of sports. So I remember playing baseball when I was a young girl. I was probably about 9 years old. I was playing baseball. Right, I was the only girl in the league, and my coach, I never forget. His name was Jeffrey Nolan. He was a medical technologist. I never forget it. And we thought he had a little money. I remember he had this big RV. He used to pick us up in his RV and things like that. But he took a liking to me, right? He thought very highly of me, right? He used to always encourage me and just say I can, do great things. And, of course, I was the best player on the team and things like that. I was very dedicated. I did what he told me to do. And, I was just very obedient. And I remember he told me, he knew I wanted to become a doctor. He said, well, don't major in pre-med. Okay, do not. He said, if you go to school, major in something that that when you I was about to say when you retire, when you graduate, you can go out and get a job because you might change your mind and not want to become a doctor. If you major in pre-med or biology, you can't do anything with that. I'll never forget that. He told me that, right? I said, okay. And so we go on, you all. I'm just thinking about all these people who just really just poured into my life, right? So I had a next door neighbor. She actually lived 2 doors down from me. And her name was Carolyn Dixon. She was like my play mom, same age as my mother. But the reason why she was so special to me is because she had a son on my birthday, right? 9 years. I was 9 years old. They didn't think they could have kids, so she had kids later in life. So she had him when she was 40, but he was born on my birthday. So he became like my little baby, right? And so I was over there every day. Every day. Now she was a school teacher. I remember she used to help me, I used to help her grade her papers and things like that. I was just became very close with her, and she used to encourage me, and I could tell her things that I couldn't even tell my mother, even though they were the same age. And so I just spent a lot of my years, I would just say from probably the age of 9 until I graduated from high school, I was over there most days. Like I literally could just walk in her house. Literally, that's how close we were. I could just walk in her house. And so I just saw, help her babysit. I was babysitting her son when she was cooking and things. I just love being over there, but I just know she was pouring into me a lot. So then I grew up in the hood, y'all. Okay. So I went to all, Black schools and elementary and middle school. But of course I had this desire to become a doctor. So we had this school in Houston called High School for the Health Professions. And I had to take a test to get into school. So I took the test, made it, got into the school, right? And so now I would just tell you that I go from being in all Black schools to now I'm in, a school that has all different types of races and nationalities. And I remember I was telling Tiff, like my first year, I didn't really say much. Okay. I didn't say much because I wasn't sure what was going to come out of my mouth. Because I was used to speaking slang, right? I could write properly. I was a great student, but I wasn't used to speaking proper English, right? And so I had to learn this subject verb agreement and know how to speak it. So that was a little transition for me, but I did it. So I'm in high school for the health professions. And that's when I really started learning things about hematology, serology, immunology, like all these things and all this stuff about health, right? And it was so interesting to me. I learned how to be a phlebotomist, how to draw blood, like all this stuff. And I'm learning. Go through high school. Now, my senior year in high school, I joined the Army Reserves. Okay, 1987. I joined the Army Reserves, and here's a little something. I actually raised my right hand December 19th of 1987. And the reason why that's so significant to me is because 9 years later, I had a son. My son was born December 19th of 1996. But December 19th, I raised my right hand. I joined the Army Reserves. Why? I'm the baby of 8 kids. We ain't had no money, okay? And I went to go to school, so I joined for the educational benefits. So I joined the reserves, you all. I ship off to I went to basic training the summer before I started my freshman year. I came to the East Coast. I went to Howard University. Okay, HU. All right. So I went to Howard, y'all. And what did I major in? I got a Bachelor of Science degree, y'all. I majored in medical technology. Why? Because I remembered my baseball coach said, if you're going to major in something, do something that when you graduate, right, you can get a job. So I'm looking at all of the possibilities. I said, you know what? I'm a major in medical technology. So that was my major. So 84, right? 88 through 93. So I was on that 5-year plan. So I was at Howard University, right? So I just want to take you back to maybe my freshman year, 1989. Now I'm going to drill 1 week in a month. I'm just an Army reservist. If y'all know what that is, just 1 week in a month. I was serving, and I met a young lady at my reserve unit. Her name was Adrian Slaughter. And she would help, give me rides to drill, take me home and things like that. But she was, I think Adrian's like maybe 7 years older than me. She too thought very highly of me. And I remember she told me, no, you're going to become an officer. You're not going to be an enlisted, like no hit on enlisted. She said, but you are officer material. You're going to become an officer. And she just really, she stayed on me about my grades. And even she's like, just stay focused, stay in school. Even when I met my husband, because I met him in college, she was like, no, we don't need boys. We don't need any boys right now. Like, stay focused. And then I was like, oh, I like him. I love him. I want to meet him. And I remember the first time she met, he's my husband now, 31 years, but I remember the first time they met and she was, looking them all side-eyeing them and everything. But she was like, no, we got big plans for you. Like, stay focused. And so anyway, I remember that. So that was about 1989. Something else pivotal happened my freshman year. So I had a friend. She was my best friend at the time. And we were laying in her room listening to Luther Vandross show. I'd never forget it. Probably, I don't know, Friday night, Saturday night. We just laying and talking. You're just hanging out with your friends in the dorm. And she was a preacher's kid. She was from Decatur, Illinois. So her name is Andrea Waddell. We called her Dree. And we're laying there, y'all, just yipping and yapping. And she just matter-of-factly told me I was going to hell. She said it just like this. You're going to hell, right? I said, what? Why would you say that? I said, I'm a good person. I don't lie, cheat, steal. Like, why would you say that? She said, no. She said, that don't get you in heaven. And I was like, it threw me. I was like, okay, this is not, and this is the person less than 5 times, okay, at church, okay, my entire childhood. But I didn't know much, but I knew enough to know hell is not where I want to be. Okay, I knew that much. And so I remember, so by then, so this is about 1989 or so, and I remember now, by then, my other sister was now in church. So out of 10 people in the family, only 2 people going to church, and my 2 sisters. So the first call I made, I called my mother. I said, Mom, let me tell you what Dree said. And I'm trying to tell her. She was like, who? What? Well, who? You don't know? I said, okay, no, Mom, I can't deal with you. I can't, you ain't saying the right thing. Okay, bye. I called my sister, and I called my other sister. I called Michelle. We call her Missy. I said, Missy, this is what I need to get baptized. I'm coming home for spring break. And she was like, okay, look, come on. I got you. Right. So I went home, and I'll never forget, she was a member of True Light Baptist Church, okay, in Houston, Texas. I don't even know if the church is still standing, but she was a member there. And I remember I went to church, and she was in the choir. So I'm sitting there, on the pew by myself, right? She's in the choir. I remember they had the invitation, and I just remember sitting there, and I had this burning sensation in the pit of my stomach. I just remember it was stirring up, and God was saying, get up. Get up. I was like, okay, I got up, walked the aisle. They took me in the back. They prayed for me and everything. And they said, okay, we can get you baptized like in 2 weeks. I said, oh, no, you can't. We need to do that this week because I got to go back to school. Okay, I got to go back to school this weekend, and I need to be baptized. So we got to do this. Okay, we can't wait. And they obliged, and I got baptized. And I don't know. I just said, okay, I had to get that done. I was like, because the hell ain't where that's not for me. Okay, that's not for me. And so I just remember that shook me, y'all. That shook me. All right. So now you fast forward. So 1991, start dating my husband. Okay, that's summer of 91, right? So that was the summer before I was going into my 4th year, because remember I was on that 5-year plan. Okay, y'all remember that. I was supposed to graduate in May of 92. Okay, so this is the summer before my 4th year. I met my now husband, but my boyfriend at the time. We started courting in 91. Graduated from Howard May 8th of 1993. I got my job, okay, August of 93 at it used to be called National Health Laboratories, but now it's called LabCorp. You all may be familiar with that Laboratory Corporation of America, LabCorp, but it used to be called NHL, National Health Laboratories. Got a job working what? As a medical technologist in the clinical chemistry department. Okay, that's where I'm working. So I'm doing that right now. When I joined the reserves, just to give you some insight, you can join. I joined on a 6x2, 6 years of active drilling, and in 2 years I go into the inactive ready reserve. So my 6 years were up. So my expiration term of service, okay, remember I joined December of 87, right? So 6 years after that, December of 93, my expiration term of service. I ETS in December of 93. Okay, so y'all stay with me. It's about to get good. Okay, now I get married. Okay, April 15th of 1994. So a year after I graduated from Howard, we get married. Okay, we get married. Right now, shortly after that, we started attending our church, Woodstream Church, which we're still members with today. So we start going there around July of 94. Now, May of 94, okay, I enlisted in the Army, the District of Columbia Army National Guard, to go through the Officer Candidate School program to become an officer. Why? Because my friend Adrian said, you will be an officer, okay? So I enlisted in the DC Army National Guard to attend their OCS program, okay? I did that around May of 94. I commissioned as a second lieutenant in August of 1995. Okay, y'all with me? Y'all with me? If y'all with me, say y'all with me. If y'all with me, say y'all with me. Okay, Zoom, you with me? YouTube, y'all with me? If y'all with me, say you with me now. Okay, because I need y'all to stay locked in. Okay. Now I had my first child. Okay, December 19th of 1996. Y'all remember that? Okay. Now, just a little side note. Me and my husband also filed bankruptcy, okay, in December of 96. I just thought it out there, Tim. Okay, we weren't very wise with the funds at the time, okay? And that's really shook us up. Okay, we got a whole child out here. Okay, you better get it together. All right. So that was like a fresh start, right? So listen, y'all. So now I have my child in 96, right? December of 96. Now I don't know if you know about the military, they give you actually 6 months to get yourself together before you have to take a physical fitness test. And so I took my test 6 months later, barely passed. Okay, it's in 97. I barely passed. Okay, barely passed. I said, okay, this ain't right. You got to get yourself together, right? And it was actually in 97 when I really got serious about my physical fitness, you all. And I'm gonna tell you who inspired me, right? It was actually Oprah Winfrey. Okay, Oprah Winfrey, y'all. Now some of y'all don't remember this, but when she was working out with Bob Green, when she ran that marathon, y'all remember that? Who remembers that? She was working out with Bob Green and she ran that marathon. And I said to myself, if Oprah can do it, I can do it. Okay. If Oprah can do this thing, I can do it. Because y'all know Oprah had a little weight on her now. Okay. Oprah was big and she lost that weight. I said, okay. Okay. I see y'all say, y'all remember that. I said, Oprah can do it, then I can do it. Right. And I really got serious about my exercise. And I start working out every day, at least Monday through Friday. I was working out with a friend. We used to work nights at LabCorp. We were working nights. So in the morning when we got off work, we would go straight to the gym on base. I would sign her in on base. We would work out. And then, so let me tell you something. So we're doing this thing, right? Now, the beginning of 1998, God was talking to me. Okay. He said, this is not where you're supposed to be. Like you need to leave this job. I was like, this is I felt like a robot. Like there was nothing. I wasn't progressing. I mean, they had given me, a raise or whatever. I was making about $50,000 a year, but it was nothing there for me. I said, I got to get out of here. And I actually, real story, y'all, I wrote my resignation letter. I wrote it. I signed it. I had everything but the date on it. and I put it behind the sheet music on our piano at home, right? You know where the sheet music, I set it right there. And I said, I will be out of here before the end of the year. And I was telling all my coworkers, they was like, girl, you ain't going nowhere. I said, oh, no, I'm gonna be out of here. I will not be here. I knew it. God already said, this not for you. And I just went on with my life, kept saying, I'm gonna be out of here. They thought I was crazy. I said, you can say what you want, but I promise you won't see me here in 1999. You won't see me here. And I was talking big too. I know I was. I mean, but I was like, I know this is not for me. So I did that. I was fully persuaded that before the end of the year, I was going to be gone. So let me tell y'all what happened. So I was part-time in the Guard at the time, remember? So one of the full-time members in the DC Army National Guard, she gave me a call. She said, Rochelle, I'm about to move to Texas, right? So my job will be open. You should apply. I was like, I don't want that job. I was like, oh, it's like Sodom and Gomorrah up there. So everybody wretched. I just go in there 1 week in a month. That's all I'm gonna do. I'm not going up in there. And she was like, I think you should apply, whatever. So I remember I was telling my husband about it. He said, well, what do you mean? Well, like, what happens if you work there full time? I said, well, I'll be working there Monday through Friday. That'd be my full-time job. He said, okay, well, I said, well, what about the pay? I said, well, yeah, I'll probably make 2.5 times what I'm making now. I'm more than double my pay. And he said, you double your pay and you're working on like doing days. So you no longer have to work nights. You're working Monday through Friday. And I said, yeah. And you got weekends off. I said, weekends off, just 1 week in a month. He said, Ro, you might want to reconsider that. You need to go in there and take that job. I said, he said, Ro, you don't deal in mess anyway. You usually stay above the fray. You know how to avoid that stuff. You need to apply for that job. So I did apply. Y'all, I applied for the job. And guess what? I applied for the job in September. They gave me a call, okay? The latter part of September. I start working there December of 1998. And so guess who was not working at LabCorp, okay, when 1999 hit? You hear me? I said, I told y'all. I was out of there. I was so excited. I said, thank you, Jesus. I knew it. God was like, that's not where you're supposed to be, right? And so now I'm working full-time, okay, as by that time I was a first lieutenant, DC Army National Guard. I was an admin officer. I'm full-time working Monday through Friday. I'm wearing the uniform every day. That's what I'm doing. So by this time, my friend had left LabCorp or whatever. She had already gone. Because she wanted to go to grad school. So I was working out at Bally's Total Fitness. Y'all remember Bally's? Who remember Bally's back in the day? I was working out at Bally's Total. I see you, Cheryl. I remember that. That was my spot. Okay. I would go work out there. When I was at LabCorp, I'd already transitioned there. But then when I started working days, so now I'm working there in the evenings, right? And so I'm working there. And then that's where this guy, he was actually a manager at Bally's at the time, but he was also, he had worked his way from personal trainer to manager. And he approached me one day. He said, you would be great at bodybuilding. I said, you think so? He said, yeah, you got great work ethic. I see you in here every day. You know what you're doing, whatever. Because you remember, I had already been working out consistently. You remember? Because I was inspired by Oprah in 97. This is 99 now, so I'm 2 years in. And he said, I see you working out. He said, I would love to train you. I would love to, you work out with me and train you. And I see you doing great things. Okay. And his name was Demetrius Sykes, y'all. He became my trainer, good friend. He's now brother. My kids call him Uncle D today. Okay. But he stepped in my life and I'm going to tell you what he started calling me. When we were training, he said, you know what? I'm going to call you Champ. He said, that's your new name, Champ. He said, I ain't never met anybody who had your work ethic. Like, you do exactly what I tell you to do. You don't complain about it. You go above and beyond. You are the champ. He still calls me that today, Champ. And I'll tell people, as a matter of fact, my husband was just asking me the other day, because I became a personal trainer, and a lot of the sayings that I have, even today, he said, my husband said, did you say? I said, no, I got that from Demetrius. Like, who I am today is a lot came from how Demetrius trained me, poured so much into me, right? And so, but he thought very highly of me, And so, y'all, so we fast forward. So now that was 99, right? 2000, I'm on the stage, bodybuilding, okay? Did very well. We competed, won some trophies and things like that. And I only did it a year because I didn't like what I saw. Like the things people, we were all natural. People were taking steroids and things. I said, I don't want this, ain't me. I don't want it. Right. So I still continued to train. I just didn't compete anymore. So 9/11 hits, y'all. I'm commander of a military police unit. I was a military police officer. Now I'm mobilized. Okay. I'm mobilized to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas for a year. Left my husband and my son. My son was 4 when I left. So I did that, came back 2002, 2003, had my second child. Okay. Had Mikhail November of 2003. By then I'm promoted to captain. Okay. Now 2004 to 2009, y'all. I'm just living my life. Okay. I'm living my life, still exercising, still in pretty decent shape. But guess what we was eating? McDonald's. Okay. Popeyes, KFC, drinking soda. Okay. Eating tilapia, shrimp, scallops. Come on. But that's when we had them double fries. You know, we had the tilapia over here and the tater tots over here. We doing the Parmesan and garlic, the barbecue. Okay. My husband can make a mean Parmesan and garlic wing. Okay. We was okay. That's how we was eating, y'all. That's how we was eating. I'm telling, we was eating everything. I used to tell people, the people at Popeyes, they knew us. We used to go in there and be like, the usual. You be like, you know it. You know, why you asking? You know what we want. We come in here a lot, right? And so we eating these things, right? At this time, my son, okay, got about 5 cavities by the age of 7, okay, from the food I was giving him. My daughter is now a toddler experiencing eczema and things like that. Unbeknownst to me, I'm just thought she got a bad just got a bad hand, just got dealt a bad hand. I'm like, what's happening to you, right? But we were eating trash, right? My husband is now overweight, pre-hypertensive at the time, right? I was actually overweight too, honestly. But in the military, you weigh in, but if you make the tape, I mean they measure your percentage of body fat, you know, I was still making by that, but by the scale, I was still overweight, right? And so this is what was happening. But guess what? I wasn't really concerned because my test scores, my physical fitness test scores were still better than most. I was still doing 297s, 298s, 299s, right? The perfect scores of 300. I was still doing this, even eating the trash. So I wasn't really concerned, right? I'm like, that's what it is. It didn't matter how hard I tried. I couldn't get the 300. I just couldn't get it. I said, okay, no problem. So I'm going through life, okay? 2007, I'm promoted to major, okay? Now here's something significant that happened in my life. March of 2007, my father passed. He passed from lung cancer, March of 2007. I'm living my life. 2009, I'm pregnant with my 3rd child, right? So my 3rd child was born August 17th of 2009. But let me just back it up a little bit. I was about 7.5 months pregnant with my 3rd child. Good friend of mine, Kim, her and her husband came by our house one Sunday. And I remember we had just gotten home from church because I remember I still had on my maternity dress, right? My church dress. And she came by and gave us a book. She said, read this book. She said, it changed our lives. And I believe it would change your life too. And the name of the book was Eat This and Live by Dr. Don Colbert. And some of y'all know that. And so I read that book, you all, and I told you, I said that was the first time I realized that, you know, I was killing my family. I was literally killing my family with the food I was giving them. And so, of course, we made all these changes. And I didn't know anything, right? So I said, Kim, come help me. Come help me. Tell me what's good, what's bad, because I didn't know anything. And Kim she just shared, you know, with me what was good, what was bad. And I just started from there, right? Started from there. And so because I, you know, made those changes when I was pregnant, after I had my daughter, just lost my weight, all that. I mean, I just lost the weight in record time. I blew right past my pre-pregnancy weight so fast. And why? Because I'd stopped the sodas and the McDonald's and all those things. Like my daughter, the one that I had in 2000, never had McDonald's, okay? But my first 2 had plenty McDonald's, right? So that was the life we were living, right? So now I have my child. And y'all remember how many months I said you get after you have a baby? How many months do you get before you have to take a physical fitness test? Do y'all remember how many months? 6 months, exactly. 6 months. So I had to take another test 6 months later, right after I had her. My first test after having the baby, okay? Now remember, after having my son, I barely passed. After having Gabby, I made a 290, 6 months after having her. Okay. I gained 70 pounds with her, y'all. 70 pounds. Okay. Because Coach Rowe gonna put the weight on when she got the babies. Okay. I put the weight on, Tiff. But I made a 290. I'm like, oh man, this is good, right? And so I kept working out, of course, I'm changing when I'm meeting y'all. And that thing just skyrocketed. My second one after that was 311. Finally eclipsed that 300. I got 311. I go 330, 360, 370, 387. Okay. I had the highest physical fitness test score in DC National Guard history with a 387. Okay. And now they have since changed the way they do the test now, but Rochelle T. Parks, okay, held the highest physical fitness test score, okay, with the way they used to do it, all right? What? From God's food, okay? Come on, somebody, from God's food. So, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all, so that's what I was doing, right? And so then you fast forward 2010, I started doing a free exercise class at my church, right? Because now, I'm training people, whatever, because I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm training people. So I started doing a free exercise class at my church, right? I did it for 2.5 years, 1 day a week, free. This is what I was doing, okay? Now, 2011, y'all, okay, my God, this is my life. 2011, I met Pastor Steve Reynolds, who is the author of Bod for God. That is a biblical weight loss class, okay, that my husband and I went through at his church, and we loved it so much, we brought it back to our church. Now, through Bod for God, I was also introduced to a wonderful lady named Annette Reeder. Annette Reeder is a biblical nutritionist. She taught a class called Treasures of Healthy Living. And so what you don't know is it's because of Annette that I know the cell theory. It's because of Annette that I know about the 3 principles, okay? Now, I gave it the name, the cell theory, but what it is was actually basic biology, but the how she explained it and how I explained it, I learned it all from her. I used to do bread making classes. I know how to make bread from scratch. I know how to mill the flour. I know how to do all these things. I learned all this from Annette, right? And so we brought Bod for God and Treasure to Healthy Living to my church, and I taught that at my church for from 2011 to 2020, right up until COVID happened. Okay. As a matter of fact, when COVID hit and the country shut down, the last few classes we had to do virtual, but I did it. Right. Bod for God became the fastest growing ministry at my church. Okay. And the largest ministry still today. Why? So many testimonies. Okay. So many testimonies getting people off, medication, reversing type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, people losing hundreds of pounds, people who thought they would never run again, now running marathons. All that was already happening. I'm talking 2011 to 2020. Coach Rowe was in it, just doing this thing. Okay. And so that's what was going on. Annette also is the one who introduced me to Shackley. Okay. She was my health and wellness mentor, right? She was pouring I was like a sponge. I'll talk to her almost every day. She's been to my home. She's done events in my home. I've been to her home. She lives in the Richmond, Virginia area. It's like, I talk to her every single day. I was like a sponge, like whatever she had, I wanted to learn it. It was like a dream come true. I'm like, yes, give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. And I know it's like somebody who's, because everybody doesn't want to know that information. And so she gladly was giving it to me because I wanted to know it. And so she was just pouring into me, right? And so now we're in 2012, y'all. I get promoted to lieutenant colonel. Okay, in 2012. Another significant event happened in 2012. My mother passed. My mother passed in July of 2012. From lung cancer. Okay. She and my father were both smokers. Okay. Smokers, you all. Smoke like chimneys, okay, smokers. So 2012, I got promoted to lieutenant colonel. That's actually when I started my Shackley business as well. What actually happened, my mother died. Her funeral was July 27th of 2012. And I had my open house, my Shackley open house, August 4th of 2012. And I still had it because I know that's when my mother would have won. I didn't cancel it. I went and did that and came on back and had the Shackley open house. That's when I started the business. So now I'm still in the military, y'all. 2014, God is speaking to me. He's saying, you know what? When you get your 20 years, which will be in 2018, I need you to retire. This is what I heard God say. He said, there's work for you to do when you retire, and you're not going to be able to do it in the manner I need you to do it as long as you're wearing a uniform. So I need you to retire when you get your 20. I heard him say that, right? So I started preparing. Okay. I said, well, you can't just wait till you retire and expect people to know you. You need to start doing stuff so people can know you now. So what did I do? I started posting workout videos on Facebook every day, every single day. And they were terrible. Okay. I didn't know anything about anything, y'all. You would see listen, put the phone, push the record, put the phone down on the floor, do the workout, go with the finger and hit the button, stop it, boom, post. Okay. Those were my videos. Okay. I promise you, but I was posting every single day. I would go live every day. And that started in 2014. 2015, another significant event happened to me. One of my soldiers introduced me to Eric Thomas. Okay, y'all know Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher, #1 motivational speaker in the world. He was like, ma'am, you gotta listen to this guy. I remember we were in the gym. Ma'am, you gotta listen to this guy. Like, he sounds just like you, because I was the motivator. Okay, I was the one motivating everybody. I was the one, of course. I was on words then. I used to be like, these words, like, watch your words. Like, don't. I had a saying, I should say these words, like, watch your words. And so they was like, this guy sounds just like you. And so I started listening to E, and I was immediately drawn to his energy, okay, and his message. My soldiers, they was like, this guy sounds just like you. And so I was like, every day I'm listening to him. I'm listening to him every day, right? And so that was kind of, I guess I'd already started my personal development journey, but he just added to it. 2016. I joined this community, Breed University, and I went to everything. And even with that, I will tell you, me joining, when I first joined, he had 3 levels. Okay. He had survive, strive, and thrive. The survive, y'all, was $19.99 a month, $19.99 a month. And I did it, right? I said, I'm just going to get in at $19.99. And I'm in it. And then I was noticing I was missing out on a lot of stuff. They were talking about calls I didn't have access to. It was a certain access I didn't have. I told my husband, I got to go up. I got to go up at least one. And so I went online and I said, I'm going to upgrade. I upgraded to Strive, y'all. I know I did. I promise you. Strive. Strive was, I think it was 89. It was either $89 and $99 a month, right? And Thrive was $199. I said, no, I ain't going up. I'm not doing $200, but I'll do this 89 and 99, right? So I did that. Boom, boom, boom. I remember I did it in my office, and then we were about to have an admin meeting. Y'all, true story. I go in there in my conference room. We about to have an admin meeting. I'm sitting down. My sergeant major's sitting next to me. My soldiers are all sitting. We was like a U-shaped table. And I just happened to look at my phone, and I saw something said, congratulations, Thrive. At $199, it had charged me. I said, what? I said, no. My sergeant major was like, what's wrong? I said, everybody get out. Get out, get out, get out. I kicked everybody out the room. He was like, what's wrong? I said, this thing got me at Thrive. I did not do this. I did Strive. He said, well, what you gonna do? I said, Lord, I don't know. And so we had the meeting. I remember I called my husband. As soon as we finished, I went in the office, I called my husband. He's the same thing. What you gonna do? And I said, y'all, I know I did not pick this. I said, must be God. I'm supposed to be here. That's the only way. I'm supposed to be in Thrive. I'm supposed to pay the $199 a month. That was the only thing that made sense to me. So I stayed. You all. I stayed in the $199, got access to everything. And that was like the beginning of everything. I started posting in the community every day. People began to know who I was. Like I was posting on Facebook. Remember 2014, I started posting every day. So by the time I get in BU, I'm 2 years in and posting every day. I'm consistent, right? People start to know who I am, right? So we then they wanted me to be an accountability coach. I was an accountability coach Monday through Friday. That's why I met Tooka. Come on, shout out to Tooka. Shout out to Ashley Schuler. I met these people on the accountability call that we did Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. every single day. Okay, every single day. And I was one of the coaches. So I was on there. So I did that from 2017 to 2021, right? 2019. I met your fearless leader, Tiffany Haynes, okay? Met Tiffany Haynes and Tiffany Montgomery at an event that he had that was here in DC, and I met her for the first time. She'll tell, I called her Cucumber. She'll tell you that story later. She's Cucumber though, right? And so still going through life, y'all. 2020 hits, okay? 2020, y'all. COVID hits. The world is shut down. And many of you know this story, but on April 5th, I found myself rushing my husband to the hospital because he was in DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. What does that mean, Coach Rowe? That means he was about 2 steps away from being in a diabetic coma, about 2 steps. Now, if I could just take you back just a couple of days before that, right? I'm home, right? My kids are home, right? Because country shut down. My husband, well, I'll just take you back maybe a few weeks before that. He's working, he was a web developer. He's working outside of the home. And I remember my husband telling me maybe a month before that, bro, I just been drinking a lot of water. I said, well, water's good. Like, what's the problem? I didn't see anything wrong with it, right? So we're home. So now he's home, okay? Because it's bad. So everybody's home. And I'm looking up and I said, no, you drinking a lot of water. Like he was drinking a lot of, y'all, he was literally, as he was drinking, he was going to the refrigerator to fill up. That's how much water he was drinking. I said, oh, this is a lot of water. And I started noticing other things. He was getting increasingly fatigued. He was peeing like every 15 minutes. His vision, he was starting to lose his vision, right? All these things were being affected. I said, these are classic signs of diabetes. He said, why you say that? I said, man, you peeing, you thirsty, you want sweet stuff, like classic signs. So I went to the store and I said, it's got to be something I can get over the counter to test your blood sugar. I went to the store. I found the glucose meter. Didn't even know one. I didn't know. Had never used one. I said, but I can figure it out. So I went and got one. I came home. So by this time, my husband is upstairs. We thought just resting, but he was so fatigued. He's upstairs in bed. I prick his finger, y'all. The first reading said 428. Now, that's high, y'all, 428. But I go into Coach Rowe mode. I said, oh, no. God's food can reverse this through nutrition and exercise, whatever. We can reverse them. God's food. So I give him smoothie, salads, things like that, trying to get it down. I never got it below 300. I think the lowest we got it was like 303. Now you fast forward. So we're doing this every day. So you fast forward now. Now we're on April 5th, you all. April 5th. We're laying in bed. We're sleeping, right? April 5th was a Sunday. I'll never forget. April 5th of 2020. Y'all can look it up. So I was awakened by my husband talking on the phone. He had the speaker. He had the cell phone on his chest and he had the speakerphone on. And it was loud. He was talking to a friend. He was talking loud. And I remember our friend said, listen, man, I know you married to Dr. Quinn, okay, talking about me, right? He said, but that's the classic bronchitis. You get you some tea with honey, vitamin C, let this thing blow over, right? I'm like, I don't think that's what this is. I said, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, right? So I go downstairs, got the tea with honey. I made a smoothie. I got the vitamin C. I came back upstairs. I said, Pops. Now my husband's name is Michael. His nickname is Pops. I said, Pops, man, I don't think that's what this is, but you know what? I'm gonna give it to you. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is. So he did the tea with honey. He did the smoothie. He said, Ro, just put the vitamin C on the nightstand. I'm gonna take a nap. I said, okay. Now it's Sunday. Now ET used to have a call every Sunday morning at 8:00, right? Like a mastermind call that like E would be on the call, right? So I said, I'm gonna go downstairs, get on my bike and jump on the call. He said, okay, I'm just gonna get some rest. I go downstairs, you all. I go downstairs and I walk through my office, okay? And God stopped me right in front of my desk, tapped me on my shoulder and said, go check his blood sugar. I actually looked to the right, like it was a real person. I looked to the right. I said, well, why would I do that? I just gave him tea with honey and the smoothie. It's going to be elevated. God said, go check it anyway. And because I'm obedient, I go back upstairs. I said, Pops, let me just check it one more time, man. Before I go downstairs, let me check it one more time. And he half coherent, so he gave me his finger. And I checked it, y'all. It didn't even register. It just said hi. It didn't give me a number. He said, what did it say, Ro? I said, it said hi. He said, what that mean? I said, man, I don't know, man, but this can't be good. Y'all, I looked in the manual real quick, and it said, if it says hi, it's in excess of 600. Now I'm thinking diabetic coma. I'm like, oh my God. So I run down. I didn't want to alarm him, so I run downstairs real quick. I called the emergency room. We live like 10 minutes away from a military installation. Told them what the deal was. They said, you need to give him to the nearest big hospital quickly. I said, why can't I bring him there? They said, no, we only do urgent care. If you bring him here, you're going to delay his care. We got to take him. So you need to take him. I said, oh my God, okay. I go upstairs. I knock on my son's door. Honey, wake up, wake up. I need your help. I need you to help me get daddy downstairs because he's very weak, y'all. At the time, my husband's about 270, okay, and very unstable. Like he wasn't really sturdy on 2 feet. I'm about $150, okay? And so I'm like, I'm gonna need help getting them down the steps. And my son was like, well, emergency room, like, what's happening? Because they were none the wiser. They just thought daddy was upstairs resting, okay? I thought so too, right? I said, it's okay, blood sugar's a little elevated. I just need you to help me, whatever. Anyway, we got him to the hospital, y'all, in time. That Sunday night, I remember they told me my husband had to make it through the night. That's how dire it was. So praise God, he did make it through the night. Okay. You fast forward, right? April 9th, he was discharged. They said, Mr. Parks, you're gonna have to stick yourself in the stomach 4 times a day with insulin, take metformin once a day, right? Now, let me tell you this. What you don't know is when my husband was in the hospital, right, I was at home putting together a plan, okay? Somebody type in the chat, putting together a plan. I was at home putting together a plan, okay? Because again, I told you, from 2011 to 2020, Coach Roy had already helped people reverse type 2 diabetes, cholesterol, high blood pressure, lose hundreds of pounds. I've been there, done that. I knew the power of God's food. I was putting together a plan. That's all I was doing, right? I said, we just got to get home. And I know people think, well, what make you think he going to listen to you? He wouldn't listen to you then, right? Because somewhere along the line, I told y'all, when that thing happened, when we changed what we ate, when we when my friend brought us the book and we changed our food, I stuck with it. Somewhere along the line, my husband grew weary, okay, for doing well. That's what some of y'all do. Some of y'all grow weary for doing well, okay? And it almost cost him his life, okay? Some of y'all, come on, you get tired. You get bored with doing the same thing. Coach Rowe don't get bored winning. You see? Coach Rowe don't get bored of results. Some of y'all get bored with success. But you know what? Legends are made in boredom. Okay? Come on, somebody. Put that in chat. Legends are made in boredom. Okay? He got a little weary. Almost cost him his life. So he had jumped out the boat. Okay? So here we are. Say, how did you know he was going to comply? I said, you know what? I've been with this man almost 30 years. Okay? He didn't have to say a thing. I saw it in his eyes. Okay? When you're with somebody that long, you can have a whole conversation and never part your lips. Okay, I said, okay. They say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. I knew he was ready. And plus, you know what? It was answered prayer. Okay, it was answered prayer, y'all. Because let me tell you something else. See, God be talking to me. He be talking to me about a year before that. Okay, I haven't told many people this, right? But the person who I told it to, they know this is a true story. About a year before that, I remember I was at a friend's house. Friend of ours that goes to our church, her son had graduated from college and they had a graduation party, right? So we were, me and my husband, we the type, we gonna shut down the party. We always one of the last ones to leave. We gonna shut it down, okay? So everybody was gone. She in there cleaning and stuff. And I was in there talking to her and she looked at me. She was like, Rochelle, what's wrong? I said, I'm worried about Pops. She said, what happened? I said, I don't know. He's not well. I said, he's not well. You see, I knew it. I said, something's bad. If he don't change, this not going to end well. God was telling me that a year before that, y'all. You understand? God be talking to me. You see, when I was a little girl, when I didn't think God knew me, but he was talking to me and he was telling me, your parents not going to make it. He told me, I used to beg them. I mean, snot nose crying, beg them to stop smoking. They thought it was a joke. You got to die something anyway. You know the crazy stuff people say. He told me they not going to make it. It was as if he was preparing me. Then they not going to make it. So when they passed, I think about my parents often, but I was the only one that could speak at my mother's funeral. Everybody else was tore up. He prepared me, right? A year before, God said, this not going to end well, right? So I'm just saying, I knew my husband was ready, okay? He was mad. They tell him you're going to be on medication for the rest of your life. He argued. I said, man, stop arguing with them. You came in here half dead. They don't believe nothing you say. I said, let's just come home because we can show him better than we can tell him, okay? My husband came home, y'all, April 9th, okay, of 2020. We immediately implemented the plan. Somebody type in the chat immediately, okay? Somebody type immediately, because some of y'all be delaying, huh? Some of you have answers and you wait. Immediately implemented the plan, okay? YouTube, immediately, okay? Y'all, in 8 days, we were medication free. You hear me? 8 days, huh? 8 days. 8 days, no more metformin, no more insulin. They said, what in the world? What is she feeding you? What y'all think we said? What y'all think we said? What we feeding them? What were we feeding them? God's food. God's food, that's it. When you change what you put in your body changes. We acted immediately, okay? That's what we did, you all. That's what we did. I was like, oh my God, this is exciting. I said, but nobody's going to believe me. Okay, we in COVID. Nobody going to believe. I said, I need somebody else. I need another person. Okay. And then the phone rang. And this coach is Tanisha James, a.k.a. Coach Tucker. Okay. Asking me for some shakes. You muted, Tucker.
All I wanted was some shakes. Okay. You still sell them shakes?
Listen, y'all, she hit me up. Said, "Ro, you still sell them shakes?" I said, "What you trying to do?" I'm trying to lose 50 pounds. I said, "Girl, you don't need no shakes. You need coaching, right? You need coaching." And y'all, I just asked her one question because I didn't even have time. See, some of y'all be asking too many questions. Y'all want all a 50 million expert. I said, "Do you trust me?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, then let's go to work." Because I didn't have time to be answering a bunch of questions. I had the answers. I just need you to trust me and execute. That's all I needed. Okay? Took her. My God.
Right. So I'm going to tell y'all what happened next. Before I tell you what happened next, I got to take you back a little bit because when you look at my pictures, you might think this started in adulthood. Okay. But this health journey, this health story, it really started when I was a child. Now, just to keep my mama safe, I want to give her some credit. Do you hear me? She never met a kitchen she didn't like. Okay. So we didn't grow up in a house where she just had chips stuck everywhere. Okay. But there was a season in my life, probably early in my teenage years, where I started picking up some habits. Okay. They didn't look like a lot back then. It didn't look like a lot was happening, but I want you to know that these were seeds. So I remember being about 13, maybe 13 years old, and food started to kind of just hit a little different. It wasn't just something for me to eat. It was something that made me feel good. It was like a little comforter. It felt like a little happy dance, when you eat it. I remember me and my cousins, don't y'all judge me. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all a story. Don't nobody judge me. All right. We used to make this snack. We would take sugar and we would pour sugar into a Ziploc bag, probably like a cup or two, like 8 to 16 ounces of sugar. Okay. And we would get a couple of packs of Kool-Aid and mix it in the Ziploc bag, shake it up, and eat it with a spoon. Just straight sugar. No water, no ice, just a bunch of bad, poor decision seeds, okay? And a bunch of sweet powder, okay? We thought we were gourmet chefs. We were legit like, let me tell you what go good with this. If you put the lemonade with the strawberry, we put the fruit punch with the grape, we were chefs, okay? But what I didn't realize then was I was literally training my brain to crave sugar. I was literally at the beginning of an addiction at 13 years old, okay? So I want y'all to see this. This was a seed for what would later in my life become a full-blown addiction, all right? Then I remember around 15 or 16, okay, I remember being more aware of my body. So like looking back, I wouldn't say I was overweight, but I do remember my confidence in my body not being like as solid, right? I remember feeling like, I'm not really sure I like the way I look. I can still remember something that a family member said to me like at 14, 15. just one little comment, and I never forgot it. It stuck. Like one sentence made me so, it was like a seed of insecurity. Here we go, another seed. One sentence, it hit me so hard, like to the core, that to this day, at 47 years old, it still makes me think twice about some clothes that I'm going to put on. All right. How many of y'all know you can heal from a lot of things, but words, they leave a little like, they got a little residue to them. All right. I just want you to think about that. Like some of y'all know what it's like. Somebody said something to you at 15 and you 40 years old, still trying to cover it up. All right. So now I'm 16. I go for it when I'm 16. I get my first job at McDonald's. Okay, mama, I made it. Making that $5.25 an hour. Okay. Honey, you can tell me I wasn't rich, okay? And I want somebody drop in the chat. What do you think my first independent woman purchase was? What y'all think I bought with my first check? Put it in the chat. What y'all think I bought? Okay, here we go, dog. I thought y'all was gonna at least say an outfit. Okay, it was a pack of Oreos. Okay, another seed. Here I am, independent. Another seed. Okay, that little pack of Oreos represented for me, baby. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I am grown. I do what I want because I make my own money. But what I didn't realize is now we are new seed, locking in this relationship, this love affair that I literally have with Oreo cookies. Okay, that's going to follow me for decades through my 20s, my 30s, and my 40s. You can come to my house any day of the week. Pick a day, okay? Any day of the week, and there's always gonna be some Oreos there. Double stuff, the little mini ones, the golden ones, the mint ones, all of them, always. Okay, didn't matter. I'm gonna keep some. Like some of y'all go to the store, y'all keep bread, milk, stuff like that at your house. We kept Oreos. Okay, gonna always have some Oreos here. So now in college, all right. This is where another seed. This is probably like my fourth seed. Okay, I need y'all to understand because what you see when y'all see this, this is the harvest, the harvest. Okay, this is a seed of desperation. Okay, this is when I first remember weight loss now being a struggle. Like, okay, I'm trying some stuff, but it seems like the stuff I'm trying is really working. Okay, so I remember getting a stomach bug. All right, we had an ice storm in Mississippi. It's a really big deal because we don't do ice or snow or any of those cold things. We had an ice storm. It affected the pipes, and I ended up getting like a stomach bug. All right, dropped food around and dropped a few pounds. Do you hear me? And instead of, acting right, I said, oh, this is the perfect time, baby. I'd already lost 5 pounds. Okay, so mind you, I'm like a 13, 14 at this time. I jump on the cabbage soup diet because I seen some other people doing it. It looked like it was working for them. It got to work for me. All right. And do you know that thing had me down to a 9, 10? All right, here we go, y'all. Confidence through the roof. Again, can't nobody. Sis thought she was cute. Okay, going to learners, getting the matching outfits for homecoming. All right, and my poses was different. My walks was different. I actually was eating a couple of eating leafy greens here, there. Got me some of those, little sweatsuits that you could buy from Walmart. The little trash bags, but they like a jogging suit that you buy me some of them. Okay, I'm serious now. Okay. I remember looking in the mirror and for the first time in a very long time, feeling like confidence. All right. Problem though is that it was like a shaky foundation. It wasn't real results, right? But just another seed. All right. So, okay, here we go. So school start back. Okay, we go back to school in the fall. Your girl is a size 9, 10 for 2.9 days. Okay. And here we go, shenanigans. Okay, I'm right back to shenanigans. I'm talking about Wendy's fries with the cheese sauce. And I'm not talking about like cheese drizzle. I'm talking about dip it, swirl it, scoop the bottom of the cup type of cheese. Breakfast was grits with butter and sugar because we Southern, so and okay, snacks. Let me tell you one of my favorite snacks. Y'all remember those? Okay, don't be judging me, okay? I'm being transparent. Y'all remember the conversation hearts? Y'all remember? Okay. Whole bag. Mouth be toe up and raw. Okay. So they're gonna put it out around January. You go stock up in January. Oh, but when that price drop after Valentine's Day and you get it for like 75% off, oh, we gonna run this all the way through March. Okay. Conversation heart after another seed. All right. And ain't no sharing the bag. It's all for me. Okay. So here we go. Here's the seed though. That's a seed of like a cycle. Lose it, gain it, try again, lose it, gain it, feel bad, try one more again, So here we go. There's a seed. So before I knew it, it had been 30 years of watering those seeds, The sugar addiction, I don't feel, as good as I could feel. Okay, using food as a little comfy security blanket. Okay, a cycle where I lose and win, and a life that feels like bondage. Okay. So when people see my health journey today, what they don't realize is that this was not a grown woman problem. This wasn't something that started when I became a grown woman. It was a childhood seed, and I didn't see the consequences until I got grown. So God didn't have to just help me lose weight. He had to help me dig up those roots from the seeds that were planted. And it looked like the sycamore tree, okay? It was work. So now we fast forward. I'm a grown woman, okay? Got me a husband, a couple of babies, got a little home ownership going on, all right? How many of y'all know that when you marry somebody and you decide to do life together and you merge your life, you don't just merge your bills, okay? You don't just merge your bank account. Me and my husband, we merged our terrible food addictions, okay? I told Ro, my husband grew up in a household where his grandmama loved him so much, she do whatever he tell. He wants some fried chicken at 2:30 in the morning, Gramsci gonna wake up and fry it. Okay, so my husband had gained so much weight by the time of 8 that his mother, when she flew in to see him after a visit with his Gramsci, she walked right past him because she didn't recognize him. She said, "Where's my baby?" And Gramsci said, "You just walked past him," because Gramsci had fattened him up. So his weight, his eating habits have been seeds. You understand? So we merged these seeds. So now we grown. Okay. Now we grown. And on top of grown, we busy. Okay. And then once again, can't nobody tell us nothing. Okay. We're going to swing by Domino's. We're going to swing by here. Okay. Because they give us bonus points that we can cash in for another pizza next week. Okay. So we earned this pizza. We got these bills. We got these babies. We work these jobs. Grown folks living here. We going to Domino's. Don't nobody say nothing about it. Okay. So during the week, we're going to do a little fast food just because, we need to make life a little easier. The weekend, we stopping by our favorite little Japanese buffet. Okay, y'all know the one with the sesame chicken, the general, Miss Claudette, you feel me? The General Tso's chicken and all the rice, the rice look like a pillow. This, you know that? Yeah, that place. Okay, there's what we got to pass by Ichiban to get home from church. Okay, so try as we might, as we rolling through Ichiban, we don't want to, but it's a look like, okay? And we ain't think none of it. Every week, we were consistently planting seeds, okay? So let's count them. Okay, we said the seed that we planted, first of all, we were making it more convenient. We cared about convenience more than we cared about taking care of ourselves. That's a seed. Using food as like a party, okay, a fellowship thing, teaching our children that food is a whole love language. Seed, okay? Feeding the fact that we tired now, okay, we just gonna make it feel better with some food, okay, with some Wendy's, all right? So we watering these seeds year after year after year. So because we did that, we shouldn't have been no kind of surprise when we started to see a harvest, okay? Well, we were, okay? Next thing you know, I'm 5'2", I'm 240 pounds. My husband is 445 pounds, okay? So this is not though, you look at us and you see weight on our body, but this is years, 30 and 40 years of decisions, little small decisions, all right? They had just harvested, all right? That was our harvest, all right? So fast forward this time, I'm a 9th grade social studies teacher. I love my job most days. Any teachers, y'all drop a little me in the chat, okay? I love my job about, out of 100, I loved about 90 of them, okay? If you know what I mean. But I had reached a point in 2020 where I felt like I had run head on into all of those seeds that we had. I'm talking about full speed with no seatbelt on. All right. So I was showing up physically. I'm doing all the things. I look like things are well. I'm working full time. I got these kids. I'm serving at the church. I'm volunteering. I'm there for my family and friends, but y'all, when I tell y'all I was some kind of tired all the time. And in case you think I mean like the kind of tired you are when you like, I could use a nap. It was like I didn't sleep a long time and I'm still tired, kind of tired. All right. Any kind of like taking care of me, that wasn't even on the list. So I told Ro this, that I would get up, I would dress myself up into what I thought was cute. Okay, my little cute outfits. All right. But if you look back at those pictures today, what I couldn't cover up with a bunch of jewelry and perfume and look color on my eyes is the fact that I don't feel well and I'm tired. There was no hiding it. All right. So because of this and the harvest that we are now reaping, the minute I get home from doing all my things, it's a wrap. I'm taking a shower, I'm putting these pajamas on, and I'm getting straight in the bed. That was my spot. Okay. Yeah, I did not live in any other part of my house. I just lived in my room. So I could hear my family in the house. I could hear them laughing. I could hear them doing life out there. But I did not have the strength or the energy to get up and join them. I could hear them, but I could not be a part of it. They would have to come and see me. All right. So the truth is, I was surviving, but I wasn't really living. My body sent me signals every day, all day, that I needed help. Every day, all day, there was a signal. I had debilitating menstrual cycles that would take me out for days. Day one, I am not going to work if it falls on a weekday. Okay. Ocular migraines, I don't know if anybody's ever had it, but you lose your vision. I would lose my peripheral vision. They come out of nowhere and disrupt my life every day. My peripheral vision would go away, and then my head would feel like it was splitting open, and it would last all the rest, like for hours. All right. I had high blood pressure, so I was on amlodipine. I had that for 15 years. I had severe anemia. I look back at my skin now, I look pale. Okay. I don't got no kind of vibrant skin going on. All right. My anemia was so bad, I was like 1 hemoglobin point from needing an iron transfusion. I had fibroids that was giving me the blues. I was tired all the time and I had no energy it was no natural energy. If caffeine didn't give it to me, I ain't have it. All right. Coffee every day with 10 creamers, 10 sugars from Chick-fil-A. 10 creamers, 10 sugars. All right. So I didn't know it then, like 2020 me, didn't know it, but today I can see that that was my harvest from 30 years of seeds. And so here we are in the pandemic, and right there in the middle of all my fatigue and all of those signals my body is sending me, God tapped me on the shoulder. Okay. Fast forward, we in the pandemic. While we sitting there wondering, what is happening? How long these people gonna keep us in the house? And how long is life gonna be like this? When the world shut down, it made me slow down. I got in my word more. I prayed more. I talked to God more. And I heard him more. So one day I'm laying in my bed because, I mean, what else you gonna be doing after you've been virtual teaching all day and you pandemicing? It's exhausting. I got in the bed, okay? Talking to the Lord, talking to my Heavenly Father, and I said, probably for what was like the 97,000th time in my life, Lord, help me, okay? Help me with my weight. Help me with my health. Help me with my energy. Help me live the promise that's in your word that I believe in John 10:10 that said you came so that I would have life and have it to the full. Help me have that. I prayed this a lot of times, but this time I heard God. I heard him like clear as day tell me, if you don't do it now, you're never going to do it. Somebody drop in the chat, do it now. He said, if you don't do it now, you're never going to do it. So when I heard him say that, I knew exactly what he meant. And this time your girl was ready. Okay. You know how I know I was ready though? Because I took immediate action. I ain't say I'm gonna call. I don't even know what time I text her. I ain't say I'm gonna text her in the morning. I text her right away. Okay. I rolled over. I text Rochelle. I text another friend who worked for another health and wellness company. And that one text changed my life. That one text changed my life. So when Rochelle said, "Do you trust me?" Of course I said yes, because how many of y'all know it's easier to do something, to move, when you know for sure God told you to do it? What else was I going to do after all these years of failing? Who else was I going to trust? After I prayed, my other friend sent me a link to buy it. Rose said, "What is you trying to do? You don't know what you're doing. Let me help you." So I need y'all to catch that, because I want you to know that God will send the right people at just the right time. And that day he sent my person. That day he sent my person. He sent Rochelle to walk with me, to coach me, to hold me accountable, to tell me the truth, okay? With love and a little bit of stank on it, okay? She was like, "You a sugar addict, sis." Girl, God. But to remind me of who I was called to be, to help me to remember, stop limiting God, stop playing with him like he ain't God, stop having these little bitty goals. And from that day forward, my yes, I gave her my yes, and I did everything. That one yes to my God's Math encounter changed everything. So before I knew it, we done looked up, baby. I wasn't losing weight, which is what I came for, 50 pounds. My life was changing, and I started to see physical, tangible evidence that when you are obedient to God, it pays off. My blood pressure was normalized. I had real energy that don't need no coffee. I had clearness in my mind. All of those ailments that I named, I had. And guess what? I had a confidence now that was built on real, lasting results, because we had dug up the roots. We had dug up. It's like Rose took my life and turned it upside down. She showed up with a shovel and we start digging. Okay? So I need you to know that God knows exactly what he's doing. He sent me the exact +1 that I needed in the exact moment that I needed her. I need you to understand, like, how many of y'all can easily see this was no like coinky-dink? Whole time I'm planting seeds that is tearing up my life, okay, giving me a terrible harvest. But while I'm planting these seeds, God was preparing the person that was going to help me dig up those 30-year roots. He was preparing me. See, because Rochelle had tried to help me. She didn't tell you all this. She tried to help me in 2017. She forgot to tell you. 3 years later, she had tried to. I'd already known Rochelle for about a year from the community that we met in, and she tried to reach out to try to get me together, but I wasn't ready. I heard Rochelle, but I didn't receive none of what she was saying. I actually said, "No, ma'am, I'm not going to be able to do it." So in 2017, I hadn't come to the end of me yet. I hadn't got sick of me and living like I was living yet. Okay? So it's easy to look and say, "Oh, I wish I had known this sooner." But you know what? It happened just the way it was supposed to happen. Because guess what? Ro taught me differently, because her husband didn't, she didn't almost lose her husband yet. There was a different level of intensity. There was a passion that she had that she wasn't finna play with me, because she knew she was trying to save my life. Now, as I think back, here's the thing that hurts the most when I think about it. I can never get that time back, no matter what I do. I can't ever go back and get those 15 years back. I have a daughter. My daughter is 14. Next month, my daughter will be 15 years old. And y'all remember that baby that Tiffany talked about to be so cute? They give you a cavity? Okay. I now have a 15-year-old, and I miss moments with my baby. Okay. When she was 3, 4, 5, and 6, because I was in the bed. I miss so many moments just trying to survive. the life I was living. Stuck in my bed instead of being present. All right, telling them mommy is tired. So I can't rewind 15 now. I think about the fact that in 3 years, my baby said she's leaving here to go to the University of Alabama. So I can never get those years back. And that is my biggest regret. So I can't rewind time, but I thank God that I started in 2020. And I believe that God redeems the time. So now she gets a different version of me. She don't get the mama that just lay there looking, telling me she tired, okay? She gets a mama who can walk, who can laugh, who travels, who's a health model. And so what I have that comforts me is that the whole time God was perfecting the pieces so that I would have my perfect God's math encounter at the perfect time that I needed it. And in order for us to get there, God had to do his work. See, Rose's husband had almost died. I wasn't tired yet. My prayers wasn't even the same in 2017. I hadn't even got to the prayer where I said, Lord, I can't do this no more. I hadn't even got to the point where I felt like my husband was going to die and leave me as a widow. And all I knew in that season was, I'm going to move in with his mama and we're going to raise these babies. Because like Rose said about her parents, I knew he wasn't going to be here. The whole time God was perfecting. So I think about what Tiff talks about Deuteronomy 32 and 30. And we say 10,000 can cause things to disappear. So when Rochelle came into my life, we made some stuff disappear. We made operating at just good enough disappear. We made operating where food is, we do the convenient thing, or we eat to be comfortable. We made that disappear. We made living on fake results disappear. We made neglecting ourselves in the name of helping everybody else disappear. We made feeling ashamed of how we look disappear. We made sugar addiction disappear. You know what else we dug up? We didn't just dig up those seeds. We dug up, we didn't lose weight. We lost how small we made God. The old me thought the only place that I could really have an impact was inside my 9th grade classroom. And today, I don't even teach social studies. Okay? Still a teacher, but I don't teach no social studies. I teach people just like me and my husband how to dig up 30-year-old, decade-old seeds and live this John 10:10 life to the full. Somebody say it's digging season. Because when God partners you with the right person at the right time, and you finally give them your yes, those deep sycamore roots that Tiff showed us earlier today, them things get dug up. Okay? And we get a new fruit. All right? So more than anything, here's what I want you to know. If God did it for me, same God will do it for you. If he could pull me out of 30 years of seeds, he could pull you out too, but you got to say yes. And you got to start digging. Because the teacher who used to sit in the room with the lights off from migraines now stands on stages and coaches people out of the enemy's hands. The mama that missed years of her baby's lives because she was laid up in the bed is an active cheer mama, football mama, and a woman who, in the words of Tiffany Haynes, makes it easy for my husband to be an Ephesians 5 husband. The woman who barely had the energy to be a mom and a wife is running marathons in 16 days with the #1 health motivator in the world. The woman who didn't have the strength to say no to an Oreo cookie is helping Coach Rowe get these people free of chronic illnesses. And all I want you to know is if he did it for me, he'll do it for you too.
Come on, Tucker. Listen, y'all. Listen. Amazing testimony. But listen, it was at this moment, I'm like, now we need to share this with the world. Okay. We need to share this with the world. So Tiffany, come on in here, sis. Come on. My God, today.
Trying to get myself together there. God.
Oh my God.
Woo! Took. Okay. So man, that was good, Tuka. My God. I think we've all been there, even if it's not food. It's just like that just was so powerful. I love that she said the biggest thing she learned was is how now she makes God bigger. She can do anything, man. So, as you know, and many of y'all have done a great job marking down the God's Math encounters, and we're getting ready to close. But it was one final few encounters that we want to point out, and that is when Ro had this life-changing moment with Pops, her husband. And she said, I with the plan that I put together with Pops, because you have to understand, even with Pops, she was making adjustments every single day. Like, you know what? Forget this cauliflower rice. We gotta do straight cauliflower. Like, we can't. It's got to be as close. She knew it was as close to its original form, but she like, we got to be closer than close to its original form to really reverse chronic illnesses. So she had perfected her system, and she said, I got it. And then here comes Tuka, and she didn't even give a time frame. But can you give them a time frame when we see those pictures where Tuka went from that to the slender snatch? Tuka, what was that?
Tuka lost about 50 pounds in about 4 months. Tuka.
Yeah. I lost 20 the first month. I know that much. Yeah.
So, I mean, it was melting off, literally
coming off fast. Okay, and I and some of you may have heard our testimony, but I knew of Rochelle because we were in ET's community, and within ET's community, we knew Terica, and Terica was getting ready to launch a financial product where she was coaching people on finances. And she said, hey, I just want to have just some friends from she knew E's community we'd be familiar with coaching and all that kind of stuff. And so she said, we just hop on a Zoom, and I just want to just talk about, your finances, and I'm going to teach you like I want to teach the masses, just to make sure that the curriculum is good. So we were just kind of like testing it out with her. And so we get on the call, and everybody's telling their numbers and everything. And now you got to think, Ro gave her whole testimony. So she's still doing very good, retired. Okay. She's still getting her retirement and everything, but she was still fresh to building her business. And while she had been consistent, she was still building the business. And so she gives, everybody goes around and says their number. And so, because she said, how much money you're making in your business every month, every year. And everybody gives their number. I think at that time I had my VA business. I was getting into consulting. I was doing multiple six figures. So I was telling her my numbers, and Ro, she told her numbers, and she said 24,000. And then we were on Zoom. I came off mute. I said, Ro, no, the whole year, Ro. She wants to know it for the whole year. You got to do the whole year. And Ro's like, okay. I said, oh, Shackley, did you include just Shackley income? She said, I'm pretty sure I did. So she, checking her numbers and everything. She was like, hold on, y'all. We're like, okay, she's about to give us the real number. That was crazy. And then she comes back. She's like, 24,000. Yes, I got it correct. It was 24,000. And my brain, I couldn't even pay attention to the rest of the call. Like, what in the world? And it wasn't that I thought it was too low for somebody that making a business. You got to understand, I built a business from the ground up. They're the first year about 24. That's amazing. First, second year. So it wasn't that. It was, she was a wealth of knowledge. Like, you guys are getting her story tonight, and her link for her masterclass, where if you are dealing with any health issues or you have a family members or whatever, our master link list has her masterclass link. So anybody that wants to go and learn more about that component of her, but when you see that and that wealth of wisdom that Coach Ro is, she was that same way when I met her. When I met her, one of the first conversations that I had with her was about my son, because he kept getting nosebleeds, and I was like, everybody knew if you had health issues, who to go to in the community. She was like the resident doctor. like seriously. Took her what she was the resident community doctor. Okay.
Every time.
Literally, you call. And so I didn't even know her that well. So I had to like message her in the Facebook group, like the private Facebook. I was like, hey, I was wondering what vitamins, because everybody knew she did Shaklee and it was whole food vitamins and it was better than the vitamins you got in the store. Everybody knew that it was the best of the best. And a lot of people were taking Shaklee and had testimonies. So I said, what should I give my son because he having the nosebleeds? And she said, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you. I said, she got to talk to me. What, girl? What I need for the nosebleeds? Okay, she trying to talk. So she like, nah, I need to talk to you. And then she got on that phone. She said, what is he eating? What is he eating? And that's when I first had my first conversation about God's food and removing things out of his diet and all these other things. And she of course gave me the formula for the vitamins that he would need for his nosebleed. But she said everything starts with food. So we got to get that cleaned up. And then she told me the 3 vitamins to take. And it was alfalfa. Okay, don't try to mess it up, Ro. It was alfalfa, and of course his normal multivitamin. Okay, that's like the base. Everybody should take a normal multivitamin. She said, but he needs to take alfalfa, nutriferon, and vitamin C. Did I get it right, Ro? Okay.
Yes.
Alfalfa, nutriferon, and vitamin C. Alfalfa, nutriferon, and vitamin C. She said on top of that foundational strip. So I said, okay. I ordered it, and I had Zay. I said, Zay, you got to get on this, baby. 14 days later, his nosebleed stopped, never came back. And I'm like, so you got to understand, this is the person this how you moving, where her advice is literally, he had been dealing with this for, I think he was 14 at the time, 13, 14 years old. And he had been dealing with for at least a decade, and they went away and never came back. And as long as he's on his vitamin game and on his health, it doesn't even rear its ugly head. So I was just like, I'm just like, you are a wealth of wisdom with no wealth. And it bothered me. Okay. Bothered me. It really bothered me. And so I called Ro, and I said, Ro, I want to help you. Can I help you? Can I help you? And Ro was like, what you said, Ro? Ro was
I mean, she knows. You didn't say, can I help you? First thing you said was, let me see your website.
Oh, I started asking questions.
You started asking questions. Let me see. I said, okay, yeah. I gave Senator my website. And I don't know what the time frame was. But next thing I know, she redid the website. I said, what? Yeah. I said, Pops, look at this. He said, well, that's good. I said, it sure enough is. That's good. And she just started doing stuff. Let me see this. Let me see that. Start doing stuff. And I became uncomfortable, because I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I don't use people. I ain't paid you a dime. Like, wait a minute now. Rearranging my car. Like, hold on. Like, what are we doing here? Like, we gotta, like, this is not right. I didn't feel right. Like, she was doing so much, and it was stuff that needed to be done. It was all great, but I was like, we're not, I don't know. I feel like I'm taking advantage. And so, yeah.
And so, we made it official. Okay. Became partners. Yeah. And early on in the partnership, I was just so excited. I I just saw so much potential in Ro, and I could not wait. The person you see today, I see that and more. I mean, what I see in her just surpasses. It gets me excited every time I think about it. And one of the first things, Ro was a Facebook queen. Okay, she was on the face of the book. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And I said, Ro, we got to get you on Instagram. She's like, Instagram? That my people ain't on no Instagram. That's not my target audience on no Instagram. I said, bro, you got to get on Instagram. Okay, come on. So we get on Instagram, and of course, all right, you go on Instagram now. She got 500,000 followers. Okay, so we've grown exponentially since we started working together. But one of the first things that I told her, because I could see it so clearly, and I just like had a download from heaven. I don't know if we were on FaceTime or something like that, or just on the phone. And I said, Ro, God is about to blow your mind. God is about to blow your mind. I just know it. I just knew it. I'm like, girl, the information you have, we gonna posture this thing right and build this business outright, girl. God is it. You don't have a clue. You don't have a clue what God is about to do. Um, and we just begin to build 24,000 that first year. Ro, share the numbers, Ro, because I've you doing better than me. But what do we do?
So we did 24,000 that first year, and then well, that was my year. And then we went straight to I think 370. I think it was 370. And then it was what was it, 1.5, then 2.5, and then yeah,
And from there, it's been up from there. We're on our track to probably do 5 million this year. And so I just knew. So we say all this to say, and I want Ro, you can share what you want to about our journey a little bit, and then we gonna go over their homework, okay? But I'll let you kind of close the journey out for yourself, right? Since you have so graciously shared all your business today, okay? All right, go ahead. All right, so I'm pulling up I took notes too, y'all, when she was telling the story.
Okay.
I took notes as well. One of the things that Rose said was like, a lot of the times she would do things because she would like, well, Tiff think I could do it. Because I'd be like, bro, this is what we gonna do. She'd be like, I ain't never did that before. This is what we gonna do. And she's like, if you saw something in me that said I could do it, then okay, I'm gonna do it. It's just like that. Ro is like the perfect person to work with, because even when she doesn't necessarily see it the way you see it, if she sees that you have the faith in her that she can do it, she's gonna execute at the highest level. And so the people that have gone over her whole life that saw things in her, I think I just happened to be the one in this season of her life that saw the same things and was able to take everything I had learned. You got to think, this was the girl working in the girl that was working in the cubicle that didn't have any entrepreneurs in her family, could look at a Rochelle T. Parks and say, I think I can help you take this business to the next level. Girl, what you ain't got no business degree. Okay, no business degree. You don't have no, that's how you know it's God. Because it's two miracles that just intersected. Because there's no reason why she should be teaching health. And leading women and men to Christ. She went to church 5 times in her youth. Cigarette smoking, Southern food, soul food. This was her life. What is it about her life that says she should be doing what she's doing now? If it wasn't for God that just marks you and says, I'm going to make you my miracle. I'm going to make you my miracle, Moses. I'm going to make you my miracle, David. He just marks you and just says, I'm going to make you my miracle. And it was the same journey for me. And then these 2 miracles just cross patterns, and she changes the entire health landscape of my entire family. She just took us out one by one. All right. She saw one hiding behind somebody else because they didn't want to get their life together. She pushed them out the way and come get them too. Took us out one by one and got us healthy. And meanwhile, while she's reversing illnesses in my home, we get millions in business. And so her mastery and my mastery collided, and all we were 2 miracles that were marked by God, and it was God's math in action. And so I thought it would just be no better way to close out the intensive with a God's map testimony. But I feel like it was better that we told it this way. And I told her I wanted her to start from the beginning, because I need you all to see that there's nothing in her life that says she should be doing this. And a lot of times you see a role and you're like, she probably grew up and mama worked out. Okay, mama was watching Jane Fonda. I'm trying to think of somebody from back in the day. Okay, my mama was watching Jane. No, mama was eating fried chicken and smoking cigarettes.
And drinking Pepsi.
And drinking Diet Pepsi. Okay, so she was a miracle. So I just want you to know that it doesn't matter. And now for your gigantic, humongous assignment. Ro, can you give them a little 30-second pop quiz? Name out some of the people along the way and see if they got the connection.
Okay. Let's see if y'all some good note takers. Okay.
That's right.
Let's see. Let's go back. What was my friend's name that told me I was going to hell? Who got that? Even if you got her nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, come on, Larry. Okay. I'll take it. Okay, it was Dree. We called her Dree. Okay, how about this? Where was she from? Where was she from? Where was she from? Okay, come on, Brittany. All right, Britt, come on.
What would y'all say Dree was on the categories? What would y'all say Dree was on the categories? I got my list too.
Don't sleep on YouTube. YouTube got the whole name, Andrea Waddell. Come on.
You two be on it, okay?
Okay, I see you, Shonda.
Okay.
Okay.
What was her role? What category did she fulfill on the God's Math Encounters? They say truth teller.
Tell her. She told the whole truth, okay?
Nothing but the truth, disciple.
Straight to hell.
A sharer of the gospel to non-believers. Though her you had some ghetto discipling. I just make a note of that just to point that out for you. Between getting kidnapped, okay, and locked in a room, and then somebody looking at you say, you know you're going to hell, right? I said, that's all I got to say at the grocery store. Okay, I'll disciple all day if that's the opening line. they gonna be picking out their grapes and everything. I'm just gonna lean over. You know you're going to hell, right?
Hell.
You know where you're headed, huh? You got them grapes.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So I just, that's you had some. Okay, you might need to be knocked upside your head. God said, I got to snatch her out of sin. Okay.
Snatch her. Okay.
All right. So go ahead, give us some rest. Let's see if they got the categories right.
Here go another one. What was my what was the profession of my baseball coach? What was he? Baseball coach. Come on, Diana. Let me see what YouTube. Let me see. No, not bodybuilder, not my baseball coach. S. Dean. Come on. Yep, medical technologist. He was a med tech. Okay. What year? No, give me the date that I swore into the military. The date. The exact date. Come on, Serenity. Okay. Okay, very good.
Okay, hold on now. You're going too fast. Check your text, bro. Okay, baseball coach. What role did he play? What role did the baseball coach play? I had him in 2, bro. I tagged him in 2 categories. Life giver.
Yeah.
Yep. I tagged him in 2. Y'all got the second one? Wisdom. That's what I got him in both of those. Would you say that's right?
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. What's the next one, Ro? You want to?
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. Adrian Slaughter, the one who I met in my reserve unit.
Mm-hmm. Which category?
Which category would you say she was? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Life giver. So what I noticed, you all, in this whole thing, like I said, I didn't grow up in church, and so I promise you, this whole time I'm thinking God didn't know me. I know I didn't know him. I'm thinking he didn't know me, but when I look back over my life, I see he's been like just ordering my steps the whole way, and putting these people in my path. And so when I think about what happened on April 5th, or even meeting Tooka, like all of these experiences, all of them were, I had to go through all of that to be ready for April 5th, or to be ready for May 11th when Tooka called. So it's just an amazing these God's Math Encounters. Okay, here we go. Next one.
Okay, give us another one. Let's do 2 more and then we'll give them their homework.
Okay, Demetrius was my the one who did the bodybuilding, who trained me for bodybuilding. What was his what category was Demetrius? Yeah. And if I can just add this, Tiff, because it boggles my brain when I think about it, but it's no coincidence. I told y'all, what did I tell y'all? He calls me today. Y'all remember the name I said he calls me today? Okay, right, Champ. So I'm gonna tell you, I have 2 other people at my church on 2 different occasions have The exact same thing happened at my church. So you know what? You know who you are? You the champ. I'm going to call you the champ. 2 other people at my church since then, and they too still call me champ today. One of them was at the birthday party too. And I just thought, I was like, wow, like of all the names you can come up with,
That's right.
that 3 different people who don't even know this about each other have said, you know what you are? I'm going to call you champ. And today, that's what they still call me. If Demetrius sent me a text, if either one of them sent me a text, that's what it's going to be, champ.
That's right.
Just said, wow, God. So if I ever doubt anything, you understand? God said, no, you the champ. You the champ. Like, you can do this. You can do this. And so I just, I'm sure we all have some as confirmation. That's right, Robin. So and I know if we think long and hard. Well, anyway, I don't want to give it away. Go ahead with that homework.
So I'm gonna do one more quick share of the categories just in case we have people come in late. Get your final screenshot. Get your final screenshot because I'm about to give you your homework. Okay. Gave you part of it. I gave you part of it. Y'all got it? Say got it. Put got it in the chat. And I'm gonna stop share. So I can go back full screen here so y'all can't say y'all was confused. Okay, on the homework. You got it? All right, y'all got it? Okay. What I want you to do is this list that we have before you. Disciple, life giver, wisdom giver, truth teller, a bold in assignment. Bold in assignment. The reason why she does fitness is because she saw Oprah doing it with Bob Greene, and all they do is talk about Oprah and her weight, but because she didn't care about how she looked. I'm coming on this TV. I'm coming on prime time. Oh, you're gonna look at me and watch what I build. She was bold in her assignment, and it unlocked something in Roe that is still being utilized to this day. What we really haven't depicted and described is thousands of people, thousands, and I'm not exaggerating, of people that reversed chronic illnesses because of Rochelle T. Parks. Yes. Because of her obedience, because a coach spoke life to her, because a neighbor let her in her home, because Kim gave her a book, because Annette decided she would just take her under her wing and just be a master reporter her without even being paid, and would just give her, it's just what she didn't get in her childhood, God just made up in angels along the way and miracles along the way. What a good father. He will set you up in a heartbeat, won't he? Just a full setup. He made up for it in all of these miracles in her life. And your job and your assignment is every encounter that we listed is for you to be that to somebody else. And I know you took copious notes because you was about to lay hands on your notes and ask God to send them to you. I know you did. Lord, I need my master report to come pour into you, girl. Pour into you, boy. I know it. I know you said, oh, if I had a wisdom, they could really show me, a life giver, because I'm always feeling down and low, and they could just really pour. What I want you to do is I want you to take this list and I want you to check it off and go be somebody's miracle. With what you know now, be their miracle. Before you learn anything else, go be a disciple. You don't need to learn that. Go share the gospel with a non-believer. Go speak life into somebody. Go, whatever wisdom you have, go share it with somebody. Go be a truth teller with love with somebody that needs to hear it. Be bold in your assignment. You could save somebody's life. Only the enemy would tell you to be scared and stay in the back and not say nothing. Because he knows what your words are capable of, what your boldness is capable of. Whatever mastery you have, go find you somebody and pour in. so that they can look back on their life and say, my God, if it wasn't for Natalie, if it wasn't for Sheila, if it wasn't for Diana, if it wasn't for Claudette, if it wasn't for Arlene, if it wasn't for these people, I wouldn't be able to say I know this, this, and that. And this is the reason why I think Rochelle's story is so powerful. Because it's not about going and finding somebody that you're going to do life with. God's math encounters can be one word, one conversation. Just like there's the teachers that may have said something to you that you never forgot it because it had such a negative impact. There's some of you that have stories of teachers that said something to you that had a positive impact that to this day, you still eating off of it. When you're feeling low, you still using that as a motivating driver. That is the power of words. That's the power of speaking life. That's the power of sharing with her. Did y'all hear what she said? A baseball coach. It made her pick a different degree because he shared his wisdom and said, you got to be careful when you're getting into that field. You pick something and now you can't go get no job. You got to make sure you pick. She never forgot it. There's wisdom somebody can give you that you'll never forget. I don't underestimate at all. If there's something that somebody has heard this week, they'll never forget it that I said. Because the introvert that would much rather not have his camera on is bold in her assignment. So as we wrap the God's Math Week, we take Rochelle's life as proof that it's not how you're raised, it's not how you're set up, it's the God's math encounters that are the miracles along the way. And as you wait for your God's math plus ones to just come pouring in, like for your rainforest, as you're waiting for them, some of you have them already, you're just about to put these strategies together and it's coming. But as you wait for them to come, I want you to intentionally be that for somebody else. Intentionally speak life. You could do that before you go to bed tonight. You could do that in the next 24 hours. Somebody you got in your head right now, they don't even know their potential. Could be a teenager, it could be a friend of yours. They don't even know their potential, always second guessing themselves. Call and prophesy them off. I done had enough of you. Do you understand? And I mean you speak. Until 10 years from now, they say, I'll never forget that call. I'll never forget that time Michaela called me. Just went off on me, child. Just lifed me down. Okay? So I want you to be that for somebody else. That is your big, gigantic assignment. Because the Bible I got says, when you give sparingly, you're going to reap sparingly. So we just going to give and give and give and be people's God's math miracles. And then the God's math miracles will come back and blow you away. It's not about forever. It's about impacting with the time you have with whoever it is that you have in mind. Of course, this isn't the end for us because we're going to be hanging out a lot, okay? And we got many things coming. But I did wanted to leave you with you leaving here and not looking for anything because God is going to do his part. Why? Because he's a guaranteer of the harvest. We already know we're just going to be focused on seed work and we're going to be focused on being as many people's miracles as possible. And guess what? You're going to get a miracle and harvest back. So that's it, y'all. Okay. Ro, anything else we missed for the people? Any final words for the people as they go out and be somebody's miracle?
I think for me, one of the downloads, and people have heard me say this before, one of the downloads that God gave me when I look back over my life, is that when I ignore the voice of God, bad things happen. And so if you look at the commonality or the thing that every time somebody told me to do something, I did it. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't delay. That's right. You going to hell. Let me go get That's baptized.
Right. Okay?
Immediately. Okay. You need
I even wrote that down in all caps, Ro.
Yeah.
Immediately use the reflect formula. Immediately go to court and get this stuff cleared up. Immediately go be somebody's miracle. That was good, bro. I wrote that down.
And I just know that, and that's my thing. I'm like, because it doesn't make sense. My thing is that why if someone is telling me to do something and I believe what they're telling me to be correct, why would I delay?
Yeah.
If I desire the results that they say I can have and I believe I can have, why would I delay? That doesn't makes no sense to me. So why? So somebody tell me to do it, I'm gonna do it now. So when you say, okay, Ro, where I say, Ro, I need these videos, I'm gonna give you a week. I'm gonna do them tonight.
Right.
I'm gonna do it. It just makes sense to me to get it done. Get it done. Because if it's the results I'm looking for, I want them quickly.
That's right.
I want results quickly. If $1 million, you say you can either get it tomorrow or Friday. I want it tomorrow. Why would I wait till Friday? That's how I see it. So when I ignore the voice of God, bad things happen. Because let me just say this: had I not listened, had I ignored the voice of God when he said, go and check his blood sugar, those thousands and thousands and thousands of people that you speak of, Tiff, not only would I probably be a widow, it'd be thousands of other people dead too. Okay, we talk about this rod may not be, it took the route they were going.
Right.
They may not be here. When I ignore the voice of God, bad things. So when he tells me to do it, when I hear him say, I just do it. I don't even question anymore because it's no way. I can't afford it. I can't afford the question. Too many lives are at stake. So.
My God. Woo! Thank you, Ro. Love you so much.
Love you.
And got a final text in. Okay, so quick thing for the book clubs. Okay, for you putting together book clubs. Some of you may be doing it at your church or something like that. If you have 100 people or more, let me know. I will do a live virtual Q&A with your people when you finish the book. Okay, I would do a live Q&A with your people when you finish the book. You say, Tiff, how much that dare cost? It for the free 99. Okay, well, you bought 100 books at that point, right? So okay, all right, Tiff would have got something for that. So but I'll do, if you got 100 people, I will do a live virtual Q&A. Okay, and so the email's in the chat. Grab that email and keep it so you can let us know if you're going to do one with those many people. If you're doing it maybe with your whole church and all of that, 500 or more, I'll fly myself out and do the Q&A in person. Okay, so I want you to know that, because I want to make sure that if you put together the community, you're reading the book and doing all the things. I want to come in and pour into your people, and let's make sure they have the clarity they need. Let's make sure they have the warfare strategies they need. Let's literally change the world. You know, they say from the ground up, we gonna change it from the principalities up, from the powers up, from the spiritual world up, so we can break it generationally. All right. And so so I want to be a part of that. So if you get big groups together, let Tiff know, and Tiff want to holler at you. All right. Bonus session tomorrow. Bonus session tomorrow, 12 o'clock. Don't forget that. Amazon link ain't going nowhere. Okay, so please go leave your review. All right, go leave your review. The master link is going to also be in the portal, also be in the Telegram. Just stick with us, stay with us. We'll see. We'll let you know what's coming up next. But it's been my honor and privilege to spend the week with you. My whole team said they probably about to sleep for about 3 days. Okay, it's been some work. Miss Claudia said 4. Okay, I need that 4th baby. So we're gonna rest up and figure out when we can meet again. Love you all so much. Please leave a review in the Telegram on what you thought, or even better, on social media so I can share it. But love you guys. Our first intensive is done, team. Great job. We did it.